This is exactly how I would approach Facebook ads if I were a beginner e-commerce brand starting from scratch in 2024. Context, I've been advertising on Facebook for over a decade. I spent over $320 million profitably with Meta ads and have driven over $1.6 billion in Meta ads attributable revenue. I've helped multiple brands go from 10K to 20K to 200 to $1 million a month, and even helped brands start from scratch at zero and get to 100K a month in less than 6 months. So it's fair to say that after all this time in the Facebook ads industry, I know a thing or two about how to get incredible results for e-commerce brands. And if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, this is exactly how I would do it if I were helping a brand scale from scratch profitably. So the first step is crafting your brand identity. So the biggest mistake new brands make is not knowing who they are. You have to craft a brand identity. You have to know yourself as a brand, or you will never be memorable to anybody, right? And so when you think of the Nikes, the Louis Vuittons, the Lululemons, just any big brand in the world, what you think about them, that is their brand identity, right? They have crafted this over time. But as a small brand, it is important that you craft a brand identity so people have something emotional to connect with, right? So if you are a faceless, nameless brand that doesn't stand for anything, no one is going to connect with your brand. So that's why these drop shipping brands come and go, because they're just selling a product. There's no connection there, right? So it's so important to craft your brand identity, because this is how customers can connect with you. And this is the only way they're going to ignite word of mouth marketing about your product or brand, because they've connected with your brand, right? And so again, this is the number one mistake that all new brands, not all new brands, but most new brands make, is they literally don't even define who they are as a brand. They're just like, oh, this is my name and let's start running ads, right? No, that's not going to cut it. And some people can get away with it, okay? If you have a good product or a good design, you can get somewhat far without having a brand identity. However, you will eventually hit a wall and it will all come crashing down because you had no foundation. It was built on a product and not built on a brand, right? So it's so important. You have to craft your brand identity for doing anything. Now the question is, how do you craft your brand identity? Great question. So step 2 is you have to define your mission, your vision, and your values of a brand. These 3 things are pivotal in determining who you are as a brand and crafting your brand identity. So your mission is really, why do you exist? What is your purpose on this planet as a brand? What are you serving your customers? What value are you providing, right? What is your mission? Your mission should be a single statement that defines who you are as a brand in one sentence, why you exist. There's a lot of big brands that you could look to for this. Next, you have to define your vision for the brand. So now that you have your mission, your reason for existing, now what is your vision? Cast your vision for the next 1 to 3 to 5 to 10 years. Where do you want to be as a brand? And how does that impact how you operate today, right? How you talk about the brand, right? What customers you're going to be going after, right? So you have to define your mission, why you exist, and your vision, what you are actually going to do into the future, right? And this is not a get rich quick thing. If you want to actually have success with Facebook ads long term, you need to build a brand. Next are the values. What values do you hold as a brand? Are you charitable, right? Are you determined, hardworking? Are you brash? Do you symbolize strength? Are you loyal, right? All these different adjectives can denote different things about your brand, right? And so it's so important to have your mission, your vision, and your values. Once you have these things done, then you start to have a brand identity, right? Because you actually stand for something, have a vision for the future, and you have a reason to exist, right? So that is step 2, crafting your mission, your vision, and your values. Moving on to step 3, your ideal customer profile. So now that you have a brand identity and you have a reason to exist, and now you should define who your customer is, right? And so based on your mission, vision, and values, that should help you determine who your ideal customer profile is. So I would start with gender. Are they male? Are they female? Could be both. Age. What is the actual age range of your ideal customer? What do they do for fun? Are they single? Are they married? Do they have kids? Do they have family? What are their interests? Do they like sports? Do they not like sports? Do they travel? Politically, which way are they leaning, right? You really have to create this ideal customer profile as an actual person, as if it's someone you could talk to. That's how in detail you should know your customer, because this is how you'll be able to sell your products in the most profitable way. Next is copywriting. So before you even launch ads, you need to write some copy for your brand. And luckily, because you already did your mission, your vision, your values, your ideal customer profile, you should have a lot to work with. So typically with most new brands, I will literally take their mission statement and boom, that is the first ad copy, right? And I call it introducing yourself to your audience. So really the point of copy in the beginning when you first launch your Facebook ads is you must introduce yourself to your audience, right? No one knows who you are. So saying drop one now live isn't gonna cut it, right? No one knows who you are. You have to introduce yourself as a brand, and you can do this with your copywriting, right? And again, I recommend utilizing your mission, your vision, and values. You can use this both for caption and headline copy, within the meta ads, and also, on static image ads as well, or even within video scripts, right? And so it's important to write copy before you even launch your ads. Don't just come up with it on the spot, right? Let's use our brand identity to craft our ad copy. Step 5 is creative. So the biggest mistake people make in the beginning of launching Facebook ads is they try to do too many things at once, right? They're trying to do dynamic product ads, carousels, GIFs, long videos, short videos, static images, running the whole gamut, right? I recommend in the beginning to pick a creative format, static image ads or video ads, choose one and figure out how to get that working for your brand. Too many times people will be working on videos and statics and you're just attention's everywhere. You're not actually learning from each ad that you make because you're distracted and doing two completely separate types of ads, right? So I recommend with your creative, choose video or choose static and then master it, get it working for your brand. Figure out 3 to 5 different concepts or angles that can work for your brand, for your ideal customer profile. Knock those out with videos or static. And then once you get that done, then you can move on to video, right? Or then you can move on to static, right? Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do too many things at once. With creative, like I said, pick video or pick static. And step 6 is actually launching your ads, right? So the biggest mistake once you're in the platform that people make is setting up the wrong type of campaigns, right? And so in the beginning, all you should be running are purchase, conversion, sales campaigns, right? So whether it's an Advantage Plus campaign or a manual campaign, that's all you should be running. Ignore everything else. Ignore traffic campaigns, ignore engagement campaigns, ignore awareness campaigns, ignore everything else except sales campaigns. Those are the only campaigns that you should be running as a new brand. Step number 7 is your website. As a new brand launching Facebook ads, you have to have these basic things dialed on your website in order to start scaling profitably. Even if you're only spending 25 to 50 bucks a day, it is possible to be profitable, but you have to have your website set up like this. Number 1, you need to have an email and SMS pop-ups. You have to give something away, 10% off, 15% off, whatever it may be, in exchange for an email, in exchange for a phone number. For example, you can give 10% off, ask for their email, they give you their email, and you say, hey, sign up for exclusive offers and give us your phone number. And they'll give you your phone number, right? Now you have their email and their phone numbers. This is so important because you're paying for this traffic, so you need to acquire something from a person, these users, their email, their phone number, so then you can market to them again. This is one of the biggest mistakes new brands make, is just not having a pop-up at all on their site. Next is moving on to product pages. So on the product pages, you need to have reviews. As a new brand, you have to have reviews. People do not know who you are. They don't trust you, right? And so get some friends and family to leave some reviews on your product, and then eventually you'll start having real reviews in there, right? But again, reviews are so important. I've seen many big brands that don't have reviews where I know they would crush even harder if they had reviews. Reviews are just one of those things now that unless you're a top tier luxury brand, you gotta have reviews. People need to know what they're getting into. And if you have a great product that people love, then you're gonna have amazing reviews from all different walks of life, right? Which are gonna help people buy more from you. So it's so important to have reviews on your site. And then the last one on the product page is really, sometimes people bury the add to cart button just way too down on the product page. You want to have your add to cart button as high as possible, so when they land on your product page, they can instantly add to cart and buy very quickly. So gotta have your website dialed. Gotta have your pop-up with your email and SMS. Gotta have reviews on your product pages, and you gotta have an add to cart button that is easy to fine. And moving on to step 8, email and SMS marketing. This is the juggernaut of the whole enchilada, whatever you want to call it, because in order for your meta ads to be successful as a new brand, you have to have your email and SMS marketing infrastructure dialed. And what do I mean by that? You need to have automation set up. What does that mean? That means when someone signs up on your email, on the SMS pop-up, they are getting an automated welcome flow email or a welcome flow text with their exclusive offer for email or for SMS, right? And so once this is set up, you have start to build a machine, right? That you can, anyone who signs up for your list, that you get ran through this machine, indoctrinated on your brand, and hopefully they're buying your product after, right? So number 1 is the welcome flow. You have to craft a nice welcome flow. I personally recommend at least 3 emails on your welcome flow to start, and at least a few SMSs to start off. Again, SMS should be really easy to do. You literally just have to write text, 3 emails, a welcome, here's your discount email, brand story email, bestsellers email, right? Boom, boom, boom. You got 3 right away, right? It is so important. You have to have these up, or else you could think your ads suck, you're failing, but you just don't have a pop-up and you don't have email and SMS going. So again, people are just so used to a first order discount. So if you're not offering that, you are literally behind. Your competitors are beating you because you're not doing the bare minimum, right? So important to do that. And the next 2 flows you need, get your browse abandon flow up. So this is if someone views your product and abandons your site, you're sending them an email, hey, come back and shop, and abandon checkout as well. If a user ends up at checkout and they leave the site, then they are getting sent an email. So again, I recommend those be at least 2 emails as well, 2 SMSs as well. You can put space in between them if you want to. Similarly with the welcome flow, you can space them out a bit if you don't want to spam the consumer. However, you need to have these automations in place because you are spending money on ads traffic, so you need to squeeze as much juice as you can out of them, right? And so if you're not collecting their emails and you're not emailing them and sending them SMSs, then what are you even doing, right? Do you actually want to make money? Do you actually want to be successful, right? The last thing here among email and SMS marketing is I recommend sending at least 1 email and 1 SMS a week. Typically to non-customers, you don't want to barrage, or you don't want to hit your customers up with too many emails and SMSs, but the people who are new to your list, you should be fine with hitting them up because we want to get a yes or a no from them, right? And so it's so important. Email a campaign once a week, send an SMS a week, get people used to the cadence of you sending, and get them to make a decision. Get them to do yes, get them to give you a no, right? We don't want these lukewarm people in the mix. Now, this is literally the exact high-level step-by-step process on how I would approach Facebook ads for a beginner e-com brand. And this is how you can literally scale from 0 to 10 to 15, 100K a month, literally utilizing this strategy. This is exactly the stuff that I teach in my coaching program. Obviously, it's much more detailed, and I build you a 6-month growth plan, and I write copy for you, craft creative brief for you, give you video scripts, give you static ad examples, right? We really get in the weeds and make everything custom for your brand. But if you follow those 8 steps, you can get to 100K a month with meta ads, running sales campaigns, right? Keep it very simple. And if you follow every step in this video to a T, I promise you that you will scale. But doing this alone is clearly easier said than done. And with everything I've given you, you really have 2 options. Do it yourself, knowing all the problems you face, and I wish you the best of luck. Or you can work with me and I can help you double your e-commerce brand in 6 months, or I work with you for free until you do, right? So if you pick the second option, then click the link in the description to learn more about how I can help you. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.